Airdrops in crypto have been huge for the past few years and have grown in popularity, with people looking to receive free tokens to increase their holdings and to earn some money. With the top 10 largest airdrops in history here for you to see since 2020, worth a staggering $21.7 billion when combined, with the Uniswap airdrop of over $6.4 billion being the largest from September 2020, followed by ApeCoin in March 2022 with over $3.5 billion of airdropped tokens, DYDX in 2021 with over $2 billion worth, and then Arbitrum's airdrop more recently in March of 2023 worth $1.97 billion. In 2023 alone, the top 50 crypto airdrops distributed tokens worth over $4.5 billion. So you can see why they are so popular, and some people even farm airdrops full time now to take advantage of these huge returns. So please do like this video and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to offer more content for you in future. Just a reminder that nothing contained here is financial advice, and let's jump straight in and take a look at airdrops in crypto in more detail. So what are airdrops and why do they exist? Well, airdrops are essentially a marketing strategy that cryptocurrency projects use to create awareness of the protocol and attract users and funds to it. And it does this by rewarding users of its platform with free tokens or coins if they do one of several things, like participate in the platform, if they share the project on social media, refer friends to the platform, etc. And we'll take a closer look at the type of airdrops that exist soon. But before that, let's take a look at when airdrops started, because the first airdrop actually took place all the way back in 2014 with Aurora coin, where residents of Iceland were airdropped some AUR or if they proved their residency, with this being touted as an alternative to the krona. And you can see what happened to it here, with the price reaching $96.81 in March 2014 for it to drop to just 3 cents by August of the same year. So this obviously didn't work. And interestingly, Aurora coin still has a market cap of over $1.2 million today. And moving forward in time now, the development of an incentivized based system in crypto, and of DeFi really, can be attributed partly to Compound, which was set up in 2017, which had one of the first governance tokens in Comp, and which introduced liquidity mining or yield farming in June of 2020. By September of 2020, DeFi collateral had reached $9 billion from the $700 million it started with that year, which is an over 12.8x increase. Lending and borrowing was incentivized by Comp tokens, and this led to an increase in other protocols that were set up, encouraging them to release their own tokens, including the DEX Uniswap that was introduced back in 2018, but which then decided to airdrop its token, as we saw at the beginning of this video, in September 2020, which is still the largest airdrop to date, worth $6.4 billion. And this all led to the huge surge in DeFi leading into 2021, as you can see here from DeFi Llama, going from then the $9 billion that I just mentioned in 2020, all the way to over $176 billion in November 2021. So what type of airdrops exist? Well, there are different names for airdrops, such as bounty airdrops, holder airdrops, exclusive airdrops, etc. But I'm going to try to simplify airdrops a bit here by saying that there are basically two types of airdrops: free airdrops and paid airdrops. With free airdrops, you obviously don't need to pay anything, and either will be rewarded directly for prior loyalty, for holding on to a particular cryptocurrency rather than selling, or will be rewarded for performing activities that don't cost you anything on that platform. Examples of this could be interacting with a test net, following, liking and sharing posts and people on social media, with some airdrops being allocated to influencers or those who market the project, which we'll take another look at a bit later in this video. For paid airdrops, you'll normally need to transact on a DeFi protocol and add some of your crypto onto their platform, buy an NFT that they're promoting, etc. And they will then often reward you for doing so with points. These points then accrue over time the more you transact, add funds, and keep using that protocol. And then when the cryptocurrency airdrops tokens, it will use these points to allocate the amount of tokens to reward you. Some airdrops will give you 100% of the value of the awarded tokens straight away, whereas others will be vested. And this means that they will give you a percentage of your total airdrop initially, and the rest will be airdropped to you in a phased way over a given period of time. So just as an example, 25% might be given to you straight away, followed by the rest in 6 months' time. This is to try to prevent people from selling or dumping the tokens straight away and giving the project more time to build and develop. And where can you find airdrops? Well, you can find new ICOs, which stands for initial coin offerings, at icodrops.com. And an ICO is essentially the launch of a new cryptocurrency. But there's also an airdrop section on DeFi Llama with information on DeFi projects that are currently tokenless and that may create a token in future and airdrop to users of that project. You can sort this by TVL or total value locked and see how long ago the project was listed and how many funds are on it. And remember, it does take time for some projects to create and release tokens, so you will need to keep abreast of the projects, follow them on social media, or follow those that do this to see when airdrops are confirmed, or often just indications from the team that one might be in future. Because a few projects don't create tokens, with some that were listed all the way back in 2021 and still don't have a token at the time of recording this video. Finally, and particularly if you're looking for newer projects, and getting them at a very early stage, there are hundreds of people on X, formerly Twitter, who post on a daily and pretty much hourly basis about airdrops and new projects, with some of these doing this as a full-time job essentially. So you can find out about new airdrops that way. Just please be careful with this method and do your research as much as possible before you follow others, because there are scammers and some people just looking to take advantage of others essentially, rather than simply provide education. But once you've found a project that is likely to airdrop in the future, you can then follow them directly on social media and keep up to date with how to participate on their platform. But what are the advantages of airdrops in the first place? Well, the obvious advantage of airdrops in crypto is the free tokens and therefore financial return that you receive. And if you can find the right airdrop and perform the right activities, this could mean huge returns. You're also supporting the crypto industry, the ecosystem, and the protocol itself by using its testnet or adding liquidity to its platform, for example. As well as increased awareness, this leads to a wider distribution of crypto, increased liquidity in the DeFi space, and trading volume on exchanges. You're also allowing the platform to test its transactions, deal with any bugs that it finds, to improve its functionality over time, and to essentially just keep building. It can lead to more community engagement and improvements in a cryptocurrency project, which can help to improve it for users, which can then therefore have a positive knock-on effect for other platforms. And if you are running a crypto project, it can be a cost-effective and efficient way of marketing your cryptocurrency and creating hype around it, because people are often rushing to get the free airdrop tokens while the project isn't having to spend a lot on advertising costs, for example. You can also use this to reward your loyal users and those who've spread the word about the project. But what are the disadvantages of airdrops? Well, the first disadvantage could be time, because you're likely going to need to devote a lot of time to farming airdrops, including when you're researching, keeping up with new airdrops and projects, tracking your current airdrops, all of the button clicking that's required to perform all of the activities needed in order to maximize your airdrop, and generally just keeping up to date with this on a daily basis. Remember, some people even do this on a full-time basis and create large followings on social media, and in particular on X. Also, we need to remember that some influencers are being paid for marketing a project. So they may be shilling a project with a view to earning free airdropped tokens in return, getting referral fees from users who click on their link, or growing interest in the project and being paid directly for doing so. But the risk here is that they may promote the project with their large followings to then just sell their tokens for a profit and essentially dump on those who've invested in the project also, meaning that those people will lose out. So you do need to be careful with airdrops and spend time educating yourself on the different projects, which to invest in and who to follow. Depending on the jurisdiction you're in and the type of airdrop you've farmed, you may also be liable for tax on the crypto you've received. So I would advise getting this checked with a crypto tax expert if you're unsure. The next one is an important one to bear in mind because you'll often be operating with new projects when farming airdrops, some of which won't have been audited or tested fully yet, especially if they're in testnet phase. But you need to be careful with your security, as there have been many examples of scams, phishing, and hacks. So think about which wallets you're using, double check your links and platforms that you're interacting with, and protect yourselves as much as possible, please. If you've been operating in DeFi for a while, you'll also have seen the free scam airdrops that are sent to people's wallets that should be avoided as well. Just remember, if you have a doubt, there is no doubt, just don't do it. Also, as mentioned previously, some airdrops are free, so you basically receive crypto without needing to spend any of your own crypto in return. So these airdrops are obviously more popular because they're free. And as a result, the returns you often receive for these are less because the same airdropped token rewards are shared among more users. So they're much more diluted. So the question is essentially, is it worth your time when you're not receiving as much in return? There are also a significant number of high net worth individuals, or whales if you want, who are into airdrop farming. So with some projects, you'll either need a substantial following on social media in order to get enough referral points to get near the, say, top 500 or top 1000 on the leaderboard, or be able to add upwards of 80, 90, or even $100,000 worth of crypto onto the platform in order to compete. If not, you may be quite far down the leaderboard and could possibly receive fewer tokens than you might think is worth it in the end. I also mentioned previously the points-based systems that have been set up for most airdrops, and they've come under some criticism as they are essentially using game theory and a rewards-based mechanism, encouraging that dopamine effect you get when you receive more and more points, encouraging users to spend more time and add more funds onto their platforms with no idea at all at the end of it how or when the developers and the protocol will award you with those airdrop tokens, because it's often just not clear. So in my opinion, this needs to be made much more transparent and clearer for airdrop farmers in the future, especially if they're paying for transaction fees and adding liquidity onto DeFi protocols. Sybil attacks can also occur with airdrops, and this is where essentially there'll be a bot or a piece of software that will set up hundreds of wallets or accounts with the aim of farming as many airdrops as possible and therefore getting more free tokens, which obviously corrupts the system and provides an unfair advantage. So platforms are trying to get around this by creating security rules and setting up algorithms to detect if wallets are part of a Sybil attack. And to give you an example of a Sybil attack with airdrops, we can look at the Starknet airdrop, in which one Sybil attacker apparently used 1,361 wallets to get 1.4328 million STRK tokens, with a value of about $3 million at the time. They then aggregated the tokens from these multiple wallets into a single address. And then shortly after this, another Sybil attack took place, this time with 1,800 wallets, gaining 1.22 million STRK tokens, valued at $2.4 million. So this brought the total amount of this Sybil attack up to $5.4 million, and obviously diluted the airdrop and meant that everyone else who participated will have received fewer tokens as a result. But there are a few things you can do to try to avoid being identified as Sybil if you're planning to use more than one address. And most of them are essentially to avoid you being detected as a bot. Firstly, use individual addresses that aren't connected or haven't transferred between each other. Secondly, try to use a wallet that has a transaction history before farming the airdrop. So essentially it will appear that it's your individual wallet address rather than as part of hundreds that you've just set up to specifically farm that airdrop. Thirdly, try to vary your transactions if you can. So use more than one protocol and change the amount of crypto you add onto it rather than always using the same platform and adding the same amount. That could even be buying an NFT as part of the airdrop rather than just adding funds onto the protocol. And finally, try to participate in the governance of the project if it's possible and if you already own some of the tokens. That will show that you're an active member of its community and may help to avoid being detected. And once you've farmed an airdrop and received the tokens, what do you then do with them is the question. Do you sell them straight away or do you hold for a longer time frame? Well, as you can see here, according to some analysis by CoinGecko, almost half of the largest 50 airdrops since 2020 achieved their all-time high price within 2 weeks of the token being publicly listed. So if you held for longer than this, you are not selling at the highest price possible in 23 of the 50 largest airdrops. And you can see that broken down a bit further here, showing when the all-time high appeared for the largest 50 airdrops, with 7 of the 50 achieving its all-time high price on the day of the airdrop, 10 of the 50 from the second day up to a week after, 6 of the projects hitting their all-time high from days 8 to 14 after their airdrop, 13 of the largest 50 airdrops had their all-time high from days 15 to 100, and then 14 of the 50 after day 101. Only 1 of the 50 largest airdrops took longer than a year to hit its all-time high price, and that was Optimism. So the question to ask here, I think, is why are you farming the airdrop in the first place? Do you believe in the fundamentals of the project and think it will have a future longer term with large traction, in which case you'll probably decide to hold the tokens you've received for a longer period of time, obviously. However, if you're just farming the airdrop for the financial gains of the tokens, then you're more likely to sell quickly. But that ends this video looking at airdrops in crypto. And as always, I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Have you already farmed some airdrops or are interested in doing so in the future? Or do you think they're too risky, too time consuming or too expensive? And if you are interested in more of a tailored approach to your crypto education, and you think you'd benefit from having someone look over your shoulder and guide you on your journey, I do offer one-to-one coaching to those who have the desire and the means to educate themselves further. And there are links in the description where you can message me and book in a free video call to see if we'd be a good fit. And if you found this content interesting, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help. And have a great day.